Welcome to the Thornton Review.
The show designed with you in mind. If it's important to you, it's important to us.
I'm Pueschel, Schneier, executive producer and manager of the Thornton Review. Thank you for tuning in. Our guest on today's show is Vicki Campbell, Emerald Coast Utilities Authority District 1 representative. So Vicki, it's really nice to have you on the show. We've had you on a couple times before. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you. It's nice to be back. I'm Vicki Campbell. I'm the ECUA representative for District 1. That's pretty much the west side of Pensacola.
Absolutely. Well, it's nice to have you back on. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll begin our discussion with Vicki about some issues going on at ECUA. There is no government-funded program that can guide a man's thoughts. Only God can do that. You can watch our program on Pensacola Urban Network, Praise TV on WBQP 12.1, WBQP 12.8 Sundays and Wednesdays at 6 p.m., WBQP Praise TV on Roku Television Network, or download Praise TV on Google Play Store or Amazon Fire. Our website, thethorntonreview.com, and our Facebook page, The Thornton Review Show. Alpha Fence Company can install any type of fence. When you call and mention the Thornton Review, you'll receive a $100 discount on your fence. They also offer military discounts. Vinyl fence, wood fence, aluminum fence, chain link fence. If it has the word fence, Alpha Fence Company can do it. 850-586-8020. 850-586-8020. Vicki Campbell was born and raised in Pensacola, Florida. She's a true West Side local. She graduated from Escambia High School and attended Pensacola Junior College with a focus on real estate paralegal studies. Vicki has been a licensed title agent since 2002. She is currently Senior Vice President of Perdido Title and Abstract Company Incorporated. Vicki is well known for being active in the community through her involvement in numerous charities and organizations. Vicki's political endeavors began when she was the governor appointee in 2009 as a consumer member to the Florida Board of Dentistry, and in 2010 to the American Board of Dental Examiners, consumer member to the House of Representatives. Vicki has served since 2012 as the elected District 1 board member of the Escambia County Utilities Authority. Vicki and her husband Mike have one son, Cody, and are avid golfers and members of Christ Episcopal Church. So Vicki, what keeps you up at night when it comes to ECUA?
Well, I think I've told you here before, I get the most questions about sanitation. But infrastructure, keeping your infrastructure ready to go and clean water safe is the thing that keeps me up at night. You know, right now we get questions about, we're having to do all kind of new things about lead in the pipes. Mm-hmm. And that's because EPA is, they're mandating what we have to do. Mm-hmm. And we don't have any problems here with lead pipes, but they have new rules. And it may not be because of us, what's going on here in Escambia County. It may be because what's going on in Flint, Michigan, Right. So we have to, if they come out with mandates or regulations, then we have to take care of those. And that keeps me up at night because it costs a lot. And we have to do what they tell us to do, sometimes to the detriment of our population because they don't want to pay to have it done. But if it's a regulation that we have to do, we have to do.
Wow. So you're saying that the EPA mandates things that may not need to be done here, but we have to do
may not have a problem with here.
Right.
We don't have a lot of problem with
Sure.
Lead in the pipes, but of course everybody wants to know if they have lead in their pipes. Somebody in an older home, there are some older homes in Escambia County, they may have a a problem. Maybe on their side, not on our
Right.
side.
So that would be up to the homeowner to
would be up to the
update their
homeowner.
own pipes.
But we may have to, let them know they could have lead in it.
Well, as far as I know, ECUA is pretty good about keeping the pipes updated,
Yes.
and they check them regularly. They have all this equipment and the state-of-the-art sonar equipment. I don't know what they have, cameras that go through the pipes and
Cameras.
everything. And so, and they know when there's leaks under the, if a
Yep.
root hits it or something.
But we have
So-
2,000 miles of pipe, that reach from here to
That's a lot of
Canada.
pipe.
So it's a lot of pipe, and we're not looking at every pipe at every minute. Recently the city found some issues at Bruce Beach, and we're working with them right now to clear that up and see what the problem is there. So that's always something, but we stay abreast and
Yeah.
try to do the best we can.
And y'all certainly have the testing lab, so you would
Yes.
know if there were if there was lead in the pipes, because
Yes,
you know
yeah,
the
we-
quantities of everything that's in the pipes or that's in the water, because
Right.
obviously the lead would leach into the water, and so they
But-
test the water.
But if it was on your, on the people's side of the pipe, then we would not know.
Exactly.
So that's, I think, where they're going now.
So what, you were on the show since the last election, and we were talking about updates and
Right.
improvements and just new happenings at ECUA. So can you give us an update on some of the new stuff that's going on?
Sure. District 1 is the fastest growing. I don't know, District 5's coming along pretty quick there, but District 1's have been the fastest growing for the last few years.
Right.
So,
It's District 1 and District 5 for sure.
and I
They're
inherited another
definitely-
part of District 1 since the last election, which is Perdido Key, Perdido area. So I'm going to give you my update of things that we have going on from the south end of the county all the way to the north end of District 1. We're putting in a redundant pipe under the water to Perdido Key.
Okay.
The current pipe is on that bridge.
That Theo Bars
The
Bridge.
Theo Bars Bridge. And, that bridge needs to be replaced sooner than later. Don't know if that's going to happen. Look at all the natural disasters that we're having. That could happen. Or a barge could hit the bridge. So that is already, that should start later this year. We're putting in
Are there plans to rebuild that bridge already, or just the pipe? You're
I don't
talking
know
about
of
the
any
pipe is like-
plans currently,
okay.
but I'm sure there will be.
You're saying the pipe is later this year?
The pipe will start
Okay.
later this year. We're putting a new 12-inch main down Innerarity Point Road. There right now is a 6-inch part of the way and 8-inch part of the way. So we're going to make the entire 6-inch pipe portion 8-inch, and then we're putting a redundant 12-inch pipe all the way down.
Wow.
So they will see a lot of increased pressure. They've had a lot of growth out there.
So a redundant pipe, that's like a backup pipe.
Right.
That's a second
Like
backup.
a second, yeah. Always want a backup pipe, especially when you're going to islands.
Uh-huh.
We're currently working on a new main in the Bellevue area. That's my area. That's always been my area. And that's on Michigan Avenue. That's working right now. We're also finalizing plans for the transfer station that we talked about earlier this year. That's in District 1, but it serves the entire county. So that is wonderful. That will really make your sanitation pickups better. We have several improvements coming in Beulah. Right now, it depends on kind of what the county does with this OLF8, if they, and the new interchange that's going in there.
Right.
There's talk that they're going to sell the whole thing to a developer now. That would be good, because then the developer would be paying for the infrastructure
All the
and not the
improvements,
people.
yeah.
So
Right.
I'm a proponent of that personally, because it's less money I have to take out of your pocket. But the county and this ECUA are working together to get grants if we do have to do any portion of the infrastructure. We're trying to get some grant money for that, so that's not
Good.
coming out of your pocket. So those are just a few of the things that are in District 1.
Yeah. Well, so it's exciting that they're putting the pipe on the bridge. They're taking it from the bridge, the Theo Bars Bridge, and burying it under the water.
It'll be a redundant line
Uh-huh.
now, just like the other. So the one that's on the bridge will stay there, but there'll be
Okay.
a redundant one underneath the bridge.
Gotcha.
So that way, if they do build a new bridge, we could use the one under, and,
Yeah, or if there's anything, like you said,
Right.
if a barge hits the bridge or something, you have the redundant
Yep.
pipe. That's a good idea.
Always
That's
wanna have
planning
redundancy.
ahead. Yes. So, why does ECUA need a lobbyist?
Well, when I first came on the board, we didn't have a lobbyist. To me, that's kind of like going to baseball game with a wood bat when you can take an aluminum bat. Other people have lobbyists, and a lobbyist helps in many ways. They stay ahead of government regulation. So Florida's a big state. If you look at South Florida, they have issues with water. They're talking toilet to tap because they don't have water. We live on one of the largest sand and gravel aquifers in the United States, in Northwest Florida. So we don't have a problem with water. So, regulations sometimes are made to address the rest of the state, and we may need to carve out, some of that new law based on where we sit. So it's good to have them staying abreast of what's going on statewide with all those regulations. Code, if we have code policies, we might need, help with them pushing things through. Most importantly, there's a lot of grants. So if, they may have a little more pull on grant monies. And there's a lot of utility infrastructure, and the one that we have keeps up with everything going on in utilities. So that keeps us abreast. And one of my board members recently asked, has it been worth it? And I think the first year that we hired the lobbyist, and they're like 30-something thousand a year for the lobbyist. I think the first year we got $1 million grant. So are they worth it? Yeah.
I would say
I think
so.
Yes.
That's a good investment. So when did ECUA get the lobbyist? What year?
I think it's been about 4 or 5 years. It's been a while. We've had them for a while, but we just renewed the contract this year again.
Because I'm trying to remember if they had him when I was on the Citizens Advisory Committee. I don't remember specifically. It could have been right when I was coming off.
Might have.
So, okay, so this is exciting, this next topic that I'm going to bring up. I don't know if you want me to bring it up or not, but because you and I butt heads on this. And when I was on the Citizens Advisory Committee, I wanted to talk to you about it, but I couldn't because of the Sunshine Law.
Right.
But now we can talk about it all day long. We
That's
can have
right.
an entire show. So a California federal court recently ruled against the EPA about fluoride in the water. So I'd like to speak with you on fluoride in our water. The hydrofluorosilicic acid that they get from the phosphate fertilizer companies and aluminum vats is the pollution vats that they get from it. And fluoride is, I'm starting off on my high horse, aren't I? Fluoride is the most bondable element. It's the most abundant element. We certainly don't need more in our water.
So fluoride in the water is a catch-22 for sure. There are proponents and opponents, but I serve the people, so I will never make decisions without their input. Years ago, when I first came on the board, the Climate of the People was heavily proponent of fluoride in the water because, I remember when I was growing up, I have cavity in every tooth, My son has never had.
I did too.
My son has never had a cavity. So, I think access to care would suffer for the elderly, the youth, and the underserved. So that's my worry about it. That's just my worry, that we would have some issues at our emergency rooms with overflow with people with dental issues. So I'm going to listen very carefully to the doctors and the dentist, not the politicos, on this issue. It does become a political hotbed sometimes, so I'm not going to listen to politics and politicians talk about it. I'm going to listen to doctors and dentists and the people that I serve. I would not want to make a quick decision about fluoride without the input of the people, so it may be something that we take on a ballot. Right. If it becomes a hotbed again. It has been a hotbed in the past. Don't know if it will. I think we need not to jump to any conclusions. We don't have anyone dying of fluoride right now. So, and I know there's fluorosis. There's some people saying that it may cause other health issues.
Yeah.
And too much is the key factor here. So we really, the good news, we maintain our levels below or at the suggested rate set by the EPA. So I am happy that ECUA is regulating the fluoride in my water because I don't want too much or too little, So fluoride's naturally occurring. Most people don't know that. fluoride is naturally occurring in the
Right.
soil. So some wells may have more than areas that others. So I'm very happy that we test regularly more than any other facility, and that we are keeping an eye on the levels of fluoride. You know, a lot of people talk about the Harvard study when you start talking about fluoride. The levels in that study were 25 times what the EPA allows and what the ECUA levels are. So they're way, 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 way under. So.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Now, and if
But-
you don't want fluoride, you can always drink bottled water or put a filter on and take the fluoride out. Recently, one of my board members, Dale Perkins, was talking about they're having issues with children getting tooth decay again in the areas where the kids are drinking bottled water or non-fluoridated water. So, again, catch-22, not my decision. I serve the people. It's their decision.
Right. Yeah. Well, so as far as getting cavities or not getting cavities, like we were drinking bottled water and filtered water. My son never once had a cavity, but I brushed his teeth twice a day until he was 10 years old. So that
So
could
you
be
have
why.
and you can get fluoride treatments
Well,
at your dentist.
Yeah, well, we didn't do that. He never even went to the dentist. Never even took him to the dentist. I did
Okay.
one time, and he didn't have any cavities, and I was like, well, if there's no problems, not gonna pretend like there are, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as far as the fluoride, I think a lot of the issue is not even whether or not it's good for you, because there's a lot of things that are good for us that I don't want the government to force me to take, like
Like shots.
the COVID vaccine, for instance. Yeah. And I don't want the COVID vaccine in my water. You know, I don't want it in my food. I don't want vitamin C in my water. You know, if I want to take vitamin C, I can take vitamin C. So I think it's just the idea of the government mandating
Yeah.
what we need, what we have to take, and we don't
Exactly.
have a choice. But like you said, there is a choice. You can drink bottled water, but you
That's
know
right.
what? You know what's wrong with bottled water?
A lot.
What? Yeah, I know. So what? You know,
Yeah.
what leaches out of the plastic?
Yeah.
What is in our bottled water? It's
Exactly.
probably worse than.
Worse than what's in your ECUA water, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
I know. Yeah, I'm sure it is. So
But you know, hey, if you're in Western North Carolina right now, bottled water is what you're drinking.
and they're happy to have it.
Exactly.
So that was something I wanted to ask you about. I know that you're leading the charge on sending water and food and supplies to North Carolina, and I really commend you for that. That's a really great thing. Would you want to elaborate on that at all?
Thank you. Yeah, sure. I'm actually the first child in my family born in Pensacola, Florida. So my entire family is from the area of Asheville, North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
Swannanoa and Black Mountain. I spent 3 years living there when I was in middle school, and but my parents are both from that area, so I have about 45 first cousins, and probably
Wow.
30 of them are still in that area.
Yeah.
And you know, it's
Were they affected by the
oh
storm?
yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
And are you in contact with them?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're in contact
I'm
every day.
sorry,
Two of my
yeah.
family were down here staying in a condo.
Oh, wow.
And they're it's funny because their kids were telling them, "Come home, come home."
Were they able to get back home?
Yes.
Or- okay.
Yeah, they were. They
Before or after the storm?
after the storm.
Okay.
Yeah, they stayed here. I was like, "No, you're not leaving."
Right,
And the son was
yeah.
like, "No, you got to get out of there." And I was like, "It's not coming here." So,
Right.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, and
Yeah.
that it went up there.
Yeah.
That's,
So you know,
yeah.
you never know, and yeah, we've been helping them, you know, get some supplies and some money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've raised about $7,000,
okay.
so it's
So,
been very nice.
So if someone seeing the show would like to donate to your cause, could you tell them how? Would you like
Sure.
to?
There's a website on my Facebook page,
Mm-hmm.
and you can donate there. Probably just another day or two.
Yeah.
You know, I'll find out. I'll keep posted. You know,
Mm-hmm.
watch my Facebook page, and I'll post there. But we are up to like 6,000, almost 7,
Mm-hmm.
and we spent a little bit on some food and whatever, and we're going to give the rest to a couple of organizations up there. Beaufort Lipscomb with Liberty Church, and Gordon Godfrey from Marcus Point Baptist Church jumped in, helped me get a truck, get the supplies that they needed, and get it en route up there. I would not suggest anybody just try to do it on their own, because they're not allowing just people to come up with trucks. And I get that.
I
Because,
do too, yeah.
Because, even...
Somebody could have ill intent and really do something weird.
It really wasn't that. It's just that they don't need a lot of things. They need specific things. And it would be a madhouse if everybody was running up with trucks.
Yeah.
They have distribution centers. They have everything figured out. Our truck went right to the distribution center, offloaded, and, they took everything that we brought. There were some things people brought that we couldn't use, like clothes. We had said on social media, don't bring clothes, but still some people did. We gave those to the Marcus Point thrift store because they can always use that.
Sure. Yeah.
And then, people brought used things and some dirty things, and you don't want to take that into an environment there. They wanted new supplies, so we we were able to use everything that was brought, with the exception of some perishable food. We could not take it.
Sure.
So some people well-meaning folks brought like apples. We couldn't take those, so we found a place for them, but we found a place for everything. But
good.
It was very nice. It was about a $40,000 deal when all said and done, so we felt very accomplished about doing it. And,
absolutely.
And I know Michelle Salzman, I think, is doing a couple runs to the Big Bend area. And I know she and some other folks are working on South Florida before the storm even hit. So, yeah, which is very nice.
Yeah, people are preparing for the South Florida storm. It's supposed to be catastrophic. I mean, if the Weather Channel is telling you it's going to be catastrophic and devastating, then get out of Dodge. And all my Airbnbs that I manage here in town are full with evacuees. So we're preparing for that. So I'm sure that they're going to need help and assistance and relief after this is over.
Yeah.
So my heart just goes out to everybody, and I really appreciate you for jumping in and helping the way you have. It says a lot. It says a lot about a person.
Some people are just born with a servant's heart.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to take a commercial break.
Okay.
And I want to remind our viewers that the Thornton Review is a civic engagement show with a purpose to spread awareness by interviewing local elected officials, candidates, and professional leaders. This is information you won't get anywhere else. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll continue our discussion with Vicki Campbell, ECUA District 1. There is no government-funded program that can guide a man's thoughts. Only God can do that. You can watch our program on Pensacola Urban Network, Praise TV on WBQP 12.1, WBQP 12.8 Sundays and Wednesdays at 6 p.m., WBQP Praise TV on Roku Television Network, or download Praise TV on Google Play Store or Amazon Fire. Our website, thethorntonreview.com, and our Facebook page, The Thornton Review Show. Alpha Fence Company can install any type of fence. When you call and mention the Thornton Review, you'll receive a $100 discount on your fence. They also offer military discounts. Vinyl fence, wood fence, aluminum fence, chain link fence. If it has the word fence, Alpha Fence Company can do it. 850-586-8020. 850-586-8020. So I guess we can talk more about the fluoride.
Oh, Lord.
We can have a debate about that.
We can talk about PFOAs.
Yeah, we'll talk about PFOAs. But the only thing I wanted to say about the fluoride is back in 1998, because I remember it did go on the ballot, and it was 51 to 49. Mm-hmm. So it won.
Like I said, it's a
but
Catch-22 hotbed.
ECUA said that they only did the vote for information purposes. It wouldn't have mattered if it lost by a landslide, they were putting fluoride in the water. They had already made the decision. They just wanted to get the citizens' input.
Yeah.
But
That was before I came on the board.
yeah, it was. And I remember that because I was protesting, I was leading the charge. I had a lot of people, out with signs and letters to the editor, calling ECUA, everybody going. We were going to the ECUA meeting saying we don't want the fluoride. And then a lot of those people that were protesting didn't even vote. So
Right.
you have to vote. You can't
let's
just
hope the people that are protesting right now don't vote.
I know. You can't just protest and be against something and go to the meetings and speak out against it and hold the
Some people
signs
just want to be in front of a camera.
and then not vote. So what's the point? So PFOAs, that's a big issue that ECUA is on top of, filtering our water, making it safe for us, because PFOAs are forever chemicals that are in the fire protection. I believe when
they're in the fire protection foam, they're actually in everything. They're probably in the clothes you have on. They're in the chair I'm sitting
they're in
in.
water resistant and stain resistant
Anything
fabrics.
Anything that's fire retardant, it has PFOA and PFOS. So
They're in anything that resists grease and oil. They're in a lot of Teflon frying pans. So people need to Google search their brand of Teflon. Well, Teflon, I think, is PFOA.
that years ago, there was a lot of issues with that. Nowadays, they
don't make them
changed the
with
cookware a long
Yeah.
time ago. So unless you got really old cookware, you probably don't have a problem with that.
Yeah. Well, I Google searched mine and made sure that it didn't
Yeah.
have. And the brand that I have, like one, it's a titanium Gotham pan, and they don't have it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if some brands still do. But these forever chemicals do not leave your body. Once they're in your body, they stay in your body. They cause cancer, thyroid problems, liver problems, and reproductive issues. So that's something that we don't want.
Exactly.
And it's also in, I did a little bit of research, not a lot, but it's in microwavable popcorn because it's in the packaging. And it was in something else.
There's a
It used to
plethora
be in toilet paper.
There's a plethora of things that it's in. So
Like different food packaging. It's going to come to me in a second. But anyway, so ECUA has those huge filters to filter it out.
right, we have GAC filters, granular active carbon filters. It's very expensive because the carbon has to be removed, replaced ever so often. And when they replace the carbon, if it is contaminated enough, it has to go to a special landfill. It's not here, and it's very expensive. And so
It has to go to a specifically lined
right. So we
landfill.
sued 3M, not just 3M. There are several companies. I didn't bring that material with me today because I didn't know we were talking about it. But we have sued them, and we won. We were a bellwether in that case, and we won.
Now, what is 3M?
The company that makes
these-
the product, makes the
okay.
chemicals.
Right. Good.
Yes.
Well, good.
So we sued them. We were a bellwether in that case. It's a class action suit. We were one of the bellwethers. So we expect to get around 30 to 50 million later this year. And that will be very helpful because we need to spend about 42 million
on the filters.
On the filters.
So, well, are they still making the chemical after the lawsuit?
I would imagine yes, but
Yikes! Yeah.
you know.
I would have wanted that to be one of the stipulations. Not only do we get 40
Well,
million,
you-
but you can't make it anymore.
Again, we were just a minor part of that.
Yeah.
We were a bellwether, which is nice, but we didn't lead the charge. Instead of doing our own lawsuit, we joined into a class action suit.
So, well, exactly how do the PFOs and PFOAs get into our water? Is it from the firefighting foam that they used
Well,
at the airport and that
there's-
leached into the ground?
Again, it's in so many things that there's a plethora of ways that it could get into your filter, but anything that gets into the ground, water can get into your filter. So, can get into your water.
Yeah.
But firefighting foam is the number one, so the wells, we don't even have detection in all of our wells. So some of our wells won't even have a filter because there's no detection of PFOA
Sure.
or PFOS.
Yeah.
Has to,
It's in certain areas where it was.
Right.
Yeah.
So the areas
That makes
closest to the
airport.
to the airport, to the Navy base, to
Okay.
firefighting facilities. Those are the ones
That makes
that we are
sense.
having to put the filters on. So, and we are actively putting filters. Probably have more filters than most anybody, and us getting ahead of this. And we didn't start it. We didn't start putting those filters on because of firefighting foam or PFOAs, PFOS. We started it because of dry cleaners.
Creosote.
Dry cleaners.
Right.
Yep, the dry cleaner's effluent. So that we figured out that they also fight PFOA, PFOS. So ECUA has been actively putting those filters on. So luckily for us, because now I think they're going to mandate it. And if the EPA mandates it, then people have to do it, and it's going to be very expensive.
Right. Well, it's for the health.
Yep.
It has to
But
be
it's
done.
not, it won't be as expensive for us since we've already started and
Yeah.
have those filters in most
Well,
of
they
ours.
need to just quit making that poison.
Yes.
Just quit making it. So, they spray the firefighter foam to put out a fire, and then it gets on the ground, and then the rain washes it into the water stream. But some of it seeps through the ground through the sand and gravel aquifer, and gets down into the aquifer that way.
Well, if it's we have wells all over.
Yeah.
Okay, so if it gets into that area, so if there's
But it goes all the way through the ground into the well.
into the well, yeah. So we have to filter it out.
Yeah. Well, I guess our sand and gravel aquifer filters some of it, because that is a natural filter.
Yeah, now you're
But
getting
not-
me into engineering. That
I
I'm
know,
not,
right?
not feeling comfortable talking about. And I did, I could bring it. I didn't know
I
we
was
were going to
thinking-
talk about it today, so
Yeah.
I didn't bring all that documentation with me.
Yeah. You probably
but,
don't know all the specifics. You just know
I
that
do know
we're
all this. I have
buying-
all the specifics, but I have them, at my office.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was thinking about inviting maybe somebody from the testing
That
center
would be
onto
very
the show.
smart if you would invite
That would-
like Don Palmer or something here today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I know
one of
him.
those.
That's a good idea. I'm going to write his name down so I don't forget. I like Don. So I had Bruce on a couple months ago.
Bruce could
just
talk
like last
about it
month.
at length. Yeah, he's good.
I'll have him back on, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'd like to have you back on too. So, I wanted to ask you, did you win the election?
Yes.
The primary.
Yes.
So you're in. You're
done,
serving
yes.
another 4 years. So your
Yes, ma'am.
campaigning is over.
Yes, ma'am.
So, phew, you can take a breather and relax a little bit.
Yes, ma'am. For
I
4
knew
years.
I knew you had it in the bag, though. I knew that. That was an easy one for you. So, are there term limits on ECUA now?
There are.
Okay.
There's three terms. I could run another term if I wanted to, but
You're going to want to.
I don't know.
I'm going to make you want to.
I don't know. I have no idea politically what my future brings. I'm a kind of follow God. Whatever He tells me to do is what I'm going to do next. And I'm having a grandson next month.
Oh,
So I think,
wow.
I know. I'm all excited about it.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Cody got married last year,
Yep.
earlier this year?
Nope, he's getting married April of next year.
Okay.
Yeah, they had a oops.
I
They got engaged.
guess I saw the engagement.
Yeah, they got engaged January. She got pregnant in February. So I'm having a grandbaby in
Aw.
November, and they're getting married in April.
Oh, but you're so happy.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. Get her a good stroller.
Yep.
And so she can walk off that baby weight before the wedding.
Oh, yeah. She hasn't gained a pound. It's funny.
Oh, I'm jealous.
It's like all
Wow.
right here, all
Yeah.
baby. But,
Well, she's lucky.
yeah.
I did.
Well, she's
boy.
got a month left, and, that last month's when you gain all that weight.
I gained all my weight just gradually throughout. But David was over a month early, and I was huge. So I have no idea what I would have been.
Yeah. I was the same way. I gained like 30 pounds.
I gained 40 pounds.
Yeah.
So, but I had a good stroller, and I quickly walked it off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was great. I wanted to talk to you about when I was on the Citizens Advisory Committee. So you and I were friends. We befriended each other at least a year before I got on the Citizens Advisory Committee. And I learned a lot from you, and I still do. But you and I would have lengthy conversations about ECUA, about fluoride, about everything that was going on. And I learned a ton from you before I got on the Citizens Advisory Committee. And then I got on the Citizens Advisory Committee, and I couldn't talk to you because of the Sunshine Law. I couldn't stand it. I mean, we were still friends, and we still did things, but we could not talk about ECUA stuff.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't stand it. Because I was like, I have to be able to pick up the phone and talk to somebody. It's the only way to learn.
Right.
And, you and the other board members were great to learn from. So I had to call other people. Wasn't as fun. No. I'm teasing, but I like to be able to converse with you about ECUA stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's fun to talk.
Mm-hmm. And we wouldn't be able to do that if I was on the Citizens Advisory Committee or if I was on the board, because I ran for ECUA. That's actually how I met Charles, was when we were hiring Bruce Woody.
Yeah.
And it was by invitation only. You could go and, meet the candidates, meet the job applicants.
Uh-huh.
And I knew who Charles was, but I never met him. I knew he was a political rival of mine because we had both put in our applications to the governor to be appointed to Alvin McCorvey's seat, District 3.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And so I didn't know if Charles was a nice guy or a mean guy or, just a political, person. Yeah. So he was sitting there when I walked in at ECUA. And I just went right up to him and I sat down beside him and I introduced myself to him and we just hit it off and we just started talking. He was the nicest guy I ever met,
Yeah.
And then he joined our Rotary Club after you got me into Rotary. And then 2 years ago in September 2022, Charles called me and he asked me if I wanted to work on a project with him, and he was calling it the Thornton Review. And I was like, sure. I had no idea what he wanted me to be doing, but we met with the producer at Denny's, and I had brought my notebook, and I knew that Charles wanted me to be part of this whole operation. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, he knew I was president of Panhandle Tiger Bay Club. He knew I'm secretary of the Republican Executive Committee. I know a couple people. He probably just wants me to call the guests and invite the guests on the show and kind of be a behind-the-scenes manager. I had no idea he wanted me to do the show.
That's cool.
But 2 years, this is our 2-year anniversary, actually.
Nice.
Our very first show was, I think, October 7th of 2022. And it was Paul Fetzko from the
school board.
From school board, yeah. And I happened to have COVID at the time. I wasn't even at our first show because I had COVID. And I was telling our producer earlier the little story. I was, in my mind, how somebody calls out sick. Sometimes you're wondering, are they really sick?
Yeah.
Well, I called out from our first show. I had COVID. I was very sick. And I was thinking, Charles probably just thinks I don't want to do the show. He probably thinks I'm nervous, don't want to do the show.
Yeah.
But he didn't think that at all. He knew. But anyway, the rest is history. I've been having a blast for 2 years ever since.
Yeah.
But this is our 2-year anniversary right now today.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Nice.
I know
Thank
you didn't know that.
I didn't know.
And the last time you were on the show, it was Charles's birthday.
Yeah.
So you're our holiday special
guest.
Anniversary guest. Yeah. So, what about there's so many things that the public needs to know about ECUA, about our water, about do's and don'ts, what to recycle, what to flush, what to put down your sink and your pipes, like grease and fog. Right. I love the acronyms, fog, because when I first started going to ECUA, everybody was talking about fog, and I'm like, fog? It's not foggy. Like, what are they talking about? Fog? Because y'all knew what you were talking about at the meeting.
That's funny. We do have a lot of acronyms in government.
It's just one of the things you kind of learn along the way.
Yeah.
Fats, oils, and grease.
Right.
And that's a big restaurant thing also, because they have to dispose of their fats, oils, and grease. And people do too. Anybody who cooks with grease, even a little bit,
restaurants have a grease trap, that catches it, and they have to be inspected ever so often. We go around and inspect the grease traps. And we actually give out some kind of environmental steward award for people that constantly do a good job at that. But we have to keep the water clean.
Yeah.
And
the
that messes up our pipes, that really, the
It clogs
fats
everything.
and grease, it clogs your pipes. So one of the worst things that you can put down your drain is milk. And people didn't know that.
Because it sticks to the pipe.
People don't know that, they
It
unless you
corrodes.
tell them. So coming to things like your show gives us an opportunity to talk about that, which is nice.
Yeah.
People don't know you shouldn't put coffee grounds down your sink. And flushable wipes, there's no
Are
such
not-
thing as a flushable wipe at all.
Yeah.
And I have seen not just baby wipes. It started with baby wipes, but then they had feminine wipes. Recently I saw manly wipes. I was like, seriously? Come on. I mean, it's just a wipe for everything.
Yeah.
And rags and wipes are one of the worst things for the
It
lift
gets
stations.
clogged in the grinders.
Well, and they get clogged in the lift station. The lift station lifts it up and over, and it can't lift up and over if there's if it's clogged up with wipes.
Right.
And and people that have grinder pumps, they get caught in the grinder pumps. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
terrible.
Wipes are also bad for septic tanks. They clog septic tanks.
They do.
We have, because we have renters, and we've had to have the septic tank, what do you call it,
Cleaned out.
sectioned out,
Yeah.
whatever. And the guy said, yeah, it was full of wipes.
Full of wipes.
Yeah, the pipe going into the septic tank was
Yeah.
clogged with wipes, and they were floating
Yeah.
all over the top
I
of
tell
the
the people out
septic
on
tank
Inner-Arity
because
Point
they
all
don't
the
break
time.
down.
Yeah, I tell the people on Inner-Arity Point all the time, you're going to learn real fast that you don't want to put wipes down your toilets.
Pumped was the word I'm looking for. We had to have the septic tank pumped.
Pumped out. Yep.
And the guy was like, yeah, it's full of wipes. $180 because somebody flushed,
Yep.
a couple of months full of wipes down
I
the toilet.
actually saw the other day a Pampers box that Pampers wipes, and it said, "These wipes are not flushable. Please do not put down." And I was like, "Holy cow!
Yeah.
I can't believe it."
Even though it says
Finally
flushable wipes on, no, I'm teasing.
No, it, didn't, it, didn't,
No, I
it
know.
doesn't say it on the Pampers one. Which
So, well, on the flushable
shout out
wipes,
Pampers.
yeah, on the flushable wipes thing, it should say these are not flushable. I don't understand how they can get away with false
Well,
advertisement like that.
I think that's the reason you're starting to see people change that, like Pampers
Yeah.
changed it on their. It takes a while for people to learn.
Yeah. And as far as recycling, people recycle things that they don't know that it can't be recycled,
That's right.
so they throw it in the recycle can. And you've always said, if you don't know or if you choose not to recycle, just
Yep.
let us know. You don't have to have a recycling can.
you
It's
do not.
better. It's better to not even recycle at all if you're going to be throwing stuff in there that
Right.
isn't recyclable, because like the plastic grocery bags, for instance, they get clogged up in the equipment at the MRF.
Yes, they do. So, when in doubt, toss it out. That's my thing. Is if you're unsure if something is recyclable, just put it in the garbage. You're trying to be a good steward, but if you're not 100% sure that it's recyclable, just throw it in the garbage.
Right.
So it's because it's not all plastic; it's just some plastics.
So some municipalities have incinerators for the garbage.
Yes.
And I believe ECUA looked into that at some, or no, not ECUA. It was
No, we did.
It was the landfill probably that looked into it.
Well, we did too. We have too. We've looked. We're always open, and always open
Yeah.
for different ways. Emulation is the best teacher in the world. So if somebody else is doing it better, stronger, bigger, better, I'm all about doing it their way. But also, you got to do it EPA's way. So if there's an incinerator, it has to be the EPA guidelines. Because you don't want to burn something, put it up in the air, atmosphere.
Oh no, it would
Right.
definitely have to be filtered. It would have to be contained. You can't just let that
So,
go.
everything we would
And that would
do-
be very expensive, I guess.
Well, there is a waste to energy plant in Palm Springs, Florida. I went down there and looked and
Really?
toured it. Yes, when they first built it, I went down and toured it. It was like $60 million project at that time, or 600 million. Sorry, $600 million project
Wow.
at that time. Well, now it'd probably be a $3 billion project because that was probably.
We can't afford that.
No.
Escambia County can't afford
No.
$3 billion.
But I mean, if
we could ship our garbage down there.
No,
We need to have one
I don't think they want our garbage down there. But what if it was a regional facility?
regional, exactly.
You know,
Like from Mississippi to Tallahassee, or
Right,
from Mississippi to Jacksonville.
Mississippi to Tallahassee would probably be
Yeah.
more like it. But
Right in the
if it was a
middle.
regional facility, you know, that would be something
Absolutely.
for the future.
Yeah.
Could use, you know, grant money. There's grant monies for all kind of things. So, you know, that is something that, you know, and if you're the host of it, you're getting the tipping fees. So, you know, you got to be careful when you talk about taking the garbage away from these counties, though, because they use that.
So what exactly is the tipping fee?
It's what the county charges us to bury at their landfill.
Right. So they would get a tipping fee to incinerate it.
If they were the one doing it, if they were the one, you know, it's just according.
Well, you just have to charge accordingly.
Yeah.
To the other municipalities that are doing it.
It's a long way off,
to
but
split
it's a great idea. Waste to energy is a great idea.
And it's your idea.
No,
So
not
you
my idea.
You take it and run with it, Vicki.
Somebody else came up with it, but I tell you, it's a wonderful
Yeah, but
thing
you're the
to
one
do.
that can make it happen.
Yeah, waste energy. Yeah, I would love to live that long to make it happen. Yeah, it'd be nice.
Well, don't they have methane?
They have a methane gas recapture program at the landfill right now.
Are they using it?
It was a 25-year contract to begin with, and I think it's been renewed with Florida Power and Light.
Okay.
It was with Gulf Power when it first began.
Yeah, so they are using it.
They are using it. Oh, absolutely.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah,
So I believe that the idea behind your transfer station is to prevent the trucks from rolling over off of the mountain at the landfill.
Well,
Or-
it's a plethora of
also
things.
because I'll let you explain, but in my mind, it's because the routes are very long, and the trucks don't have enough time to finish their routes sometimes.
Right. Well, they fill
Because-
up, and they have to go to the landfill. When the truck gets full, has to go to the landfill
And then go back to
and
the
drop
route.
it off, and then go back to their route. Well, if it's dark, then they can't go back and,
Finish.
you know, pick up garbage. And the roads to the landfill, you just think about it: Pine Forest Road, 9 Mile Road, Beulah Road.
Certain times of the day, you don't want a
Certain
garbage
times of the
truck,
day, you
yeah.
don't even want to be on those roads, much less be a garbage truck on those roads. And so then they get to the landfill, and there's a long line to go up the hill, to go
So
up
it's
and
just
drop off. And then when they get up there,
time-consuming.
it's a very bumpy tipping floor. And
yeah,
we've
and
actually had
dangerous.
trucks roll over and have to buy new trucks.
How much are those trucks?
$500,000.
$500,000.
When we
So
first
every
started,
time one gets totaled because it tumbles down the mountain,
right.
it's $500,000.
That's right. So when we build the transfer station, the trucks will come to the transfer station. This is a state-of-the-art transfer station. It's not one that you've seen before where the trucks go and dump it on the ground and then it
Somebody
gets scooped
scoops it
up
up.
and put back into an 18-wheeler. This one, the 18-wheeler will drive in under
Under
the
the
tipping
garbage
floor.
truck.
under the tipping floor. They will come and then tip it into the truck. So it never is going to touch the ground there. It's going to go truck to truck. And
Perfect.
then the 18-wheeler, when it's full, compacted and full, it will go to the landfill. The garbage trucks will go right back out and start picking up garbage again.
Yep.
And that's what we need.
It's
I mean, this
saving
county is
time.
growing, and instead of buying more and more and more garbage trucks at $500,000 a piece, it would be better to have the trucks that we have back out on the road picking up garbage. So
Yeah.
it's the best thing that we could ever do.
That is so logical. It makes so
sanitation.
much sense.
It does.
It's, that was a
and
good
we're
idea.
being a good neighbor at that facility. We put up a new fence recently to the neighbors on the south.
Where is it located?
It's on Godwin, where our trucks sleep. The garbage trucks have been using this facility for 40 years.
What district is that in?
It's in my district, District 1.
Okay.
So the garbage trucks have been there for 40 years. They sleep there at night with garbage in them right now because they can't get back to the landfill.
Right.
So there will never have garbage in them at night if we do this, because they
Yeah.
can go and dump it in the inside facility. If it can't make it back up there, then it will be closed
Just-
in.
Sure.
You know, the doors will be closed. There will
Absolutely.
be no smells. So
No rodents.
No rodents,
No flies. Yeah.
yeah, so
Yep. That's just a good idea all the way around. I don't see any cons to that.
I don't.
I really don't. I mean, I can't think of one con.
Yeah. And being a good neighbor there is very important. We keep the grounds clean. And the people around there let me know when things are not going right. Trust me.
Yeah,
Miss
I'm
Godwin
sure.
on Godwin Lane is, I've known her probably 40 years. She used to work at the courthouse.
Okay.
And nice lady, and she'll call me. She calls me and lets me know, they're using this driveway. They're not supposed to use this driveway. Okay,
Right.
let me know.
Yeah.
And then,
It takes communication.
They
yeah.
should drive in off of Pine Forest. They should never come down Godwin Lane.
Okay.
And that's where they get filled with natural gas. There at the
Okay.
city has a natural gas station, filling station right there by our trucks. So our trucks are all gas,
Yeah. So how long have they been all gas? Going on
2012, so
Yeah.
12 years.
I was going to say going on 10 years, but yeah.
12 years, yeah.
Uh-huh. So is that working out better than gasoline trucks?
It is, but
It has its pros and cons
it has
also.
its pros and cons too.
Yeah,
Everything
like
has
everything.
ups and downs, And but I did hear that we are very close to being full with our mechanics again. So that makes me very happy because we were down a few mechanics. Didn't have enough mechanics, so now we do. So that's better. Keeping everybody employed is a number one problem there at ECUA.
Right.
You have to keep enough employees, and it's now over 600 employees.
I think it's been like that every
Probably
year,
over 700.
especially ever since COVID. For some reason, it's just hard to keep
Yeah.
employees.
It is. It is because there's so many jobs, and everybody needs employees. So you have to pay them.
Right.
You have to pay them. It has to be a good culture.
Well,
have to have good
you
benefits.
do have to pay them, but they also have to work.
That's right. Exactly.
I'm a business owner, and I'm blessed with a very great team. But every once in a while, you get somebody that wants the paycheck but doesn't want to do the work. Yeah. So
Exactly.
yeah. So
Yep,
it's
I'm a
give and
business
take.
owner too, so I've had that
so
happen
you
as
know,
well.
yeah, you understand.
I have a great team. I'm blessed with an
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic team at my office. But
Yeah, me too.
from time to time, you do.
Yeah, it comes and goes. It has
Have
its ups and
issues.
downs. So it was just so nice having you on the show. I'm so happy to have
It
you
was
on.
wonderful to be here.
So, well, what else ECUA related? There's so much ECUA related because there's 5 major departments.
Right.
You've got the Central Water Reclamation Facility, which is probably the biggest and most important one.
Right.
Because it's our water.
You have
it's
the
our
one on the
sewer.
beach. You have one on Blue Angel. So you have all your water facilities, and then you have your compost facility. That's at
Yeah.
Central Water Reclamation Facility, and then we have the recycle.
The MRF.
That's at the landfill. the
Materials
MRF.
Recycle Facility.
And then we
Which doesn't actually recycle. We don't recycle here. We separate.
separate.
Yep. So that's, unless you're really thinking about it or conversing and researching,
Right.
people think of recycling as, you're actually making a product out of this.
Right. We do not make product. No,
Right.
we sell the commodities on the market, the commodities market,
manufacturers,
to manufacturers and or to whoever's using them. It's not necessarily, it's just whoever wants to buy the stuff,
Yeah.
And so this year we actually made a profit.
Wow,
It's
good.
not that way every year.
Yeah.
Trust me. Recycle was more of a cost avoidance than a moneymaker when we started it.
Right.
So, but this year we did make a little money. So, that may not be the way next year. And we keep a strong lookout on that because I don't want, or none of the board members want our citizens to be paying for, recycle if they don't want to recycle.
Right.
So we keep a strong eye on.
That makes sense because you have to do it properly.
Right.
You can't just say, okay, we're going to recycle and then not do it properly because you just go backwards. Everything.
Well, you don't
ends
want
up
to
in-
lose. You don't want to lose money on recycle either. So,
Yeah.
gotta keep
But
an eye on it.
not only is it a cost avoidance, but it does keep a lot of things out of the landfill.
It does.
That you don't really necessarily need everything in the landfill when it can be reused.
And still, 70% of the people want to recycle.
Yeah. So that's a plus.
Yeah.
Well, and then there's the testing lab,
Yes.
which is all important
All
because
important.
that tells us whether or not our water is
Right?
safe. And if
we
there's
test more than any other facility.
and ECUA has won a lot of
area.
awards.
Yes.
Are they?
something years in a row. It's probably like 23 or 22 or 23
You have an
years in
entire
a row
wall of
Yes.
plaques.
of quality water. So, and we put out a quality water report every year. You know, I go around and speak and give out that water quality report to
Absolutely.
everybody, and people love to get that and read up on it. People want their water to be good, and our
Yeah.
water is good.
And the anytime you hear, because over the years and every once in a while, somebody puts out this thing, Escambia County has the worst drinking water.
You
has
know,
the most
actually, that has
contaminants.
not.
It hasn't been recent.
It hasn't come out in a long time because it's been debunked
Yep.
so well, and it's not true. And it really didn't. You know, this was the first election cycle that I've ever been on that did not come up because it's not true.
Yeah.
And
Well, it was a filter
it's
company
only
trying
hurting
to sell.
ourselves.
It was a filter company trying to sell their filters. So of course they're going to say that.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was so nice to have you on.
It was great.
I would love to have you on again.
Thank you. Thank
Again
you,
and
yes.
again and again. So we're going to end the show.
All right.
And then we'll talk some more later.
All right. Appreciate the opportunity again.
So the Thornton Review is on the air to provide public service awareness and intellectual infrastructure to our community. And this show is made possible by Ida Gates Godly Teas LLC, Alpha Fence Company, and our guest, Vicki Campbell, ECUA District 1. It was a pleasure to have you on as always. We want to thank you for watching this episode of the Thornton Review. Bye-bye.